Moving on then to the high school. There are a great number of needs at the high school, but as this bond proposal has moved forward and looking at the amount of money able to be spent, we know that district-wide we just simply cannot meet all of the needs possible across the district. So the high school is currently where our focus has been on trying to determine how much we can get done at the high school with all of its different needs. Just want to provide you with the dates of the different parts of the high school site. The main building there, the main Muskegon High School, was built in 1925 with additions in 62 and 97. The J building, the two-story red brick building on the northwest side of the site, was built in 1908. The Redmond Potter gym, pool, and library facility was built in 1976. The Manual building, which is the low one-story building, was built in 63 and further added onto in 67. So those are all different parts of the high school. Now, currently, in the basic bond proposal that is in discussion, the current renovations that would be occurring at the high school would be to replace all of the current heating elements. That would be in other words, to replace the steam boiler with hot water, and would also replace all of the existing lighting with LED lighting. So in both cases here, replacing steam with hot water and replacing existing lighting with LED would provide significant energy savings and also provide improved comfort and improved learning environments for all of our students. Additionally, the roof at the high school would also be replaced. And in fact, across the district, one of the things that is a bottom line for all of the buildings across the district that would be preserved would be new roofs, conversion of all of our current existing heating plants, which are all steam boilers, very inefficient old technology, to convert those all over to the much more efficient hot water systems, hot water heat. And then in all of our elementary and middle school spaces, we would actually be introducing air conditioning to provide year-round climate control for those buildings. The plans, this is part of where we are still under discussion at the high school to see if we can bring the air conditioning in for the high school. That may be an expense that's a little too great for this particular proposal, but we would be setting the stage to introduce air conditioning to the high school at a later date. Currently, the Redmond Potter building, the media center, is air conditioned. So that is what would be taking place at the high school. The current plans are that the administration would be moving into the part called the Manual building, and the J building would be demolished and provide for more parking for the entire site and open up more space there at the site. So that's the high school as it currently stands. More discussion is, as I said, ongoing. And then we need to talk a bit about athletics and what is going on within athletics. Again, we need to ask the questions, what are our top priorities that need to be addressed? And how can we do this within the limited physical space that we have? And then how can we also get done as much as we need to get done when we have so many needs in our classroom facilities as well? So how do we balance all of these things? So the first thing to discuss is what would happen with the current Muskegon Middle School site known as the Steele site. The Steele School at this point in the basic proposal is called to be demolished. That building, again, has served its time. It has some significant issues from a heating standpoint and the way that the building was constructed. And again, that space is space that the district no longer will need. But the site will be maintained. The site will be kept within the district's control. Currently, from an athletic standpoint, there is the track at the current middle school site, at the Steele site, and that track would be completely reconstructed. It would be made wider, and in making it wider, the reason that's done nowadays is to accommodate a full-size soccer field inside of that track's footprint. So The way tracks used to be made, they were narrower and skinnier, and this was all done before before soccer rather. Soccer requires a field that's wider than a standard football field, and so soccer really doesn't work well at the existing Hackley Stadium, and it's currently using the Nelson field behind the Nelson Elementary School. This would now create a soccer and track athletic complex out at the steel site. There would be bathrooms and so on also as part of that project. So then that brings us back to other elements. Right now in the existing bond proposal, the field behind the Nelson School would be regraded and reshaped to be able to be used as another practice field and or competition field, depending on the level and the sport being played on it. And then that's about it in the current project scope. We recognize that there are other needs, and there are significant other needs. And the team is continuing to look at how we can incorporate some of those into a proposal to put before the voters. There are two things that I wanted to hit upon. One is Hackley Stadium. There are needs at Hackley Stadium. There has been discussion of whether turf is a viable option at this time. That is not being included in this bond proposal. Again, I'll repeat that turf at Hackley is not a part of this bond proposal. However, we do believe that for the long-term utilization of that field space and as well as maintenance, that turf would be in the best interest of the district to do at some point in the relatively near future. And so that continues to be looked at, and again, may be part of additional projects being brought to the community. An additional question that we need to talk about is also the pool at Redmond Potter. This is the remaining pool within the district. It was built in the late 70s. All of the equipment is original, so it is 40-year-old equipment that is in the pool. The pool is in need of significant upgrading and renovation. The committee has struggled with this question because another significant need across the district is for gym space. And so the question is, how do we best provide gym space that is needed across the district when we're also dealing with this need for, if we're going to keep the pool, to renovate it. So here is just a little bit more information for you. The cost to renovate the pool and bring it up to standard by itself is estimated to be around $1 million. This then does not still solve the need for another gymnasium in the district. We would have the existing high school gym. We would have the current existing middle school gym out at the steel site would be replaced by the new gym at Nelson, so that would be a trade. But we would then be, in essence, losing a gym across the district, and we actually don't need less gyms, we need more gyms. So the question is, how can we achieve that? So one of the ways to achieve that would be to keep the pool and then to perhaps keep the gym out at the steel site, but that would need a new face and would need some renovations to make that really work. The cost estimate for both keeping the pool, upgrading that, and creating this new envelope out at the steel site for the gym, keeping that and renovating it, that price tag is estimated to be at least $3 million to do both of those things. Another option that the team is looking at is filling in the pool and creating a gym space in the existing pool. And the cost estimate for that is $1 million. So as we balance those two out, the question is, which makes the most sense for us? Do we spend $3 million at least to renovate the pool and to create this gym out at the steel site? Or do we convert the pool to a gym for $1 million at the existing building? One of the other questions involves the ongoing maintenance of the pool. Pools are expensive to operate and to maintain. Estimates are that it costs about $1 per year for each gallon of water in a pool. And that's about how they figure the costs. So that is a 300,000 gallon pool at the Redmond Potter Building. So therefore, you would be saying that cost estimates to maintain or run that pool would be $300,000 a year, and we believe it's all of that amount. The pool recognizes and receives very little in the way of income, so that is a very significant expense annually for the district. We recognize that there is value with having a pool. However, is that cost associated with it, as well as the other needs that we have for additional gym space, what is the right answer for us? And so as we talk about the survey, that's one of the things that we will be asking folks on the survey, is to provide their input regarding the future of the pool. It is a significant question for us, and while it's a fairly small part of the overall bond scope, we know it's an important question for us to deal with.